Hey everybody, Cody with Princess Craft RV. Come along with me today as we do our technical walkthrough on the 2025 MDC XT16 Island option, and this is the off-grid extreme version. So we're gonna start right up front with the coupler on this guy, and this is the Cruise Master DO35 coupler. It does come with a pin that is gonna go up into the coupler. You'll use your manual tongue jack here to lower down onto it. Once you get lowered down, you're just gonna push this red button down, and that's gonna cause this slide lock to come forward and lock you onto the pin for the DO35. Once you get that all the way on, then you can snap your cap in place. And this is kind of a secondary device. This actually will not fit on here if you're not latched correctly. To finish hooking up to your tow vehicle, we're gonna have your 7-way cord. Get all your lights and brake activation through that, as long as you've got a brake control on the tow vehicle. This is optional to install onto your tow vehicle. This is going to be a two-pin Anderson style connector for running the DC to DC charger that's pre-installed on the camper to help charge up your lithium batteries while towing. We're going to have your safety breakaway cable for your electric brakes. And then we've got your heavy duty tow chains that are super robust on this unit. We like to cross these underneath our coupler to create a basket whenever they hook up, and they're going to clip right onto the receiver hitch of your tow vehicle. Moving on back here, we've got your park brake handle. So once you're parked, you're just going to pull up on this thing right here, kind of like a park brake in your vehicle. Button here to release. We've got your freshwater spigot up here. This is just for water. There's no special purpose to it. All right, so on our tongue jack here, it's gonna be manual crank. We can adjust the overall height of this unit by pulling this pin right here, and allows this whole unit to slide up and down inside the trailer bracket. And then for storage, when you get ready to tow, you're gonna crank the wheel all the way up. You want this pin to set into usually this hole right here, so that wheel will clear when we swing up. And to swing it up, you're gonna grab this handle and you're gonna pull out, and that's gonna allow you to pivot your tongue jack up out of the way for ground clearance. And that's pretty much out on the tongue. So let's move back to our storage boxes. On the left and the right inside the boxes, you will find storage and also jerry can holders, so you can carry water or whatever else you want to carry in a jerry can with you. Now you can lock these two side ones shut with padlocks or whatever you choose to put on them. From the factory, they're just gonna come with a snap clip, keeps them from accidentally popping open. Now on the middle one, this is where we're gonna find your propane cylinders. I've got two 20-pound propane cylinders with a single hose. So you're just gonna attach to one cylinder until it goes empty, then you'll come out, shut the valve off, move over to the other cylinder, and then you can remove this one and go exchange it or refill it, whatever you need to do, whatever's available to you. It is highly recommended that you do not lock these locks because we want to keep those accessible to shut off the valves if there is a fire situation or anything like that, where we can get the propane shut off. So moving on around, we've got our 30 amp inlet right here at the front of the camper. It's going to be a twist lock style standard RV type cord that you're going to hook onto there. Just line up your prongs, install, give it a slight turn to the right, and then lock down on the collar to make sure we get a good snug connection there so we don't overheat or get any arcing. We are equipped with the Truma AquaGo water heater here. To get into this guy, we're just gonna turn our knob, and then we can take and move our door down. We do have our main power switch in here. Off in the middle, power to push it to the up position for on. The other thing that needs to happen is you do need to remove your dust plug for use. If you leave that in, you will have operational issues. And to store this, it's gonna store right here in the door in that little clip. And when you get ready to no longer use it, you're just gonna pop that back out, find your matching shape, and it just pushes back in, and then you can close your door back up. Now to drain the unit, it's gonna be a plug right behind this yellow lever. We're gonna push up on this top lever, pull this down, and you're gonna pull that yellow lever all the way down, and your plug's gonna come out, and you can take it and remove it, and all your water's gonna run out. This is super important for winterizing. if you're not going to be using it, because these little plastic mixing valves in here are prone to cracking if they freeze. They are just plastic, so please, please, please make sure you drain that out. That's pretty much it in here that you would probably need to mess with. All right, moving on back here on the driver's side of the trailer. These units come, the Off-Grid Extreme comes with a pretty robust solar and lithium setup already installed. But if you don't have enough solar, we can expand that. We've got 3 more inputs here. Each one can handle up to 200 watts of additional solar to help keep you off-grid camping, keep you going and get out there. In this bay right here, this is going to be our wet bay. This is going to be where we connect to our city water connection. It's going to be where we can fill up our freshwater tanks and or flush our gray tank, and access our outside shower where you'll have hot and cold water. This is an insulated bay for the off-grid or OGE version. So if you need to get water hooked up to it, you're just going to remove this door right here, and your hose will just come in here, and that'll help minimize the amount of cold air getting into everything versus leaving it hanging wide open. Wheels and tires and lug nuts. Let's cover that real quick. So just like your car, do check your tire pressures and adjust those as needed, as well as checking your lug nut torque. It is recommended that they be checked periodically and torqued to the proper torque spec, which is usually 100 to 110 foot-pounds. Maintain it, guys. It's something you want to do. Truma exhaust. So this is where our hot air exhaust will come out from our Truma furnace. So it does say hot because it will get hot, so just don't cover it, don't block it, and watch out for little fingers while you're out camping in the winter. This little access door here, it is watertight. It's got a gasket on it but this is the access to fill our cassette toilet. So you'll just push that in. It's gonna pop open and allow you to fill it with a water hose, which will fill the tank on the inside and it's set up like this again for cold weather camping, so you don't end up with freezing. And this is our cassette down here for the toilet. Now to get this out, all we're gonna do is lift up on this blue lever. That's gonna allow us to slide this right out. Now this can be dollied to your dump station. It's got a flip out handle on it and wheels, so you can wheel this thing around. But to empty it, we're gonna take our spout, turn our spout out, take our cap off, and then while holding this, you can take this to a toilet or to a dump station. We're gonna push on this vent release, and then we're gonna dump. And that's gonna dump everything out of here. Now, when you're done with that, you are gonna wanna clean this. You're gonna wanna pull this off manually. You're gonna turn this blue lever, and that's gonna open the valve inside to the tank and allow you to rinse this out with some water. Again, anytime we're messing with sanitation stuff, we like to see a separate water hose. Don't use your freshwater hose that you would typically use to connect to your camper. Now, when you get ready to put it all back in, make sure we close that. Reinstall our cover plate. Put your cap back on. Push that around, and then we're going to take this and we are going to slide this right back in. Push it all the way in until you hear it snap in, and you should be good to go. We are equipped with 4-corner stabilizers on the camper. They are swing down style, so you pull out this blue lever and these can swing, and they have several different locking positions. They're going to give you the most stability and weight capabilities in the perpendicular position. If they have to be at an angle, that's okay, but just keep in mind that these are not for lifting, they are for stabilizing. So you get a hand crank, you can just crank them down to the ground to stabilize, or you can equip yourself with a drill adapter and run them down and stabilize that way. Moving on to the back, got your spare tire back here with your license plate. So if you do get a flat, you do have a full-size spare that can be swapped out with your flat. Down below, we do have a couple of tow hooks. So in case you get into a sticky situation, you have somewhere to hook on. On the off-grid package, we are already equipped with a backup camera and a nice big spotlight. Roof access ladder, this is going to give you access up to the rooftop. You do need to go up there probably every 90 days or so and inspect everything on the roof. You do want to keep your solar panels clean to optimize their efficiency, and also inspect your sealants that are up there. Make sure you're not having any issues there so you can keep up with just the general maintenance on the roof. Moving on around, we do have a tip out tray here. It's just a tray, it tips down. It's a good place for you to set up your TV or prep your food or anything like that. We do have exterior 110 outlets. And this is another place if you wanted to move your TV from the outside, you could do it here. It just slides onto the bracket, and then you have your power choices as well as your cable jack. Entry door handle grab does have your button on it for your amber lighting. The best part about camping in an MDC is the outside kitchen, which is going to be right here. We do have a couple of safety locks on this that do have to be released so we can get this out. The first one's going to be this big lock right here. We're going to pull it up and rotate it till this pin rests on these two so it stays up. And the secondary one is going to be the slide lock pin. We're going to push down on that, and that is going to allow us to pull the entire kitchen out of the storage unit. Now this has a couple of different things that have to be opened up that'll be secured with bungee cords, as you can see here. All of those get held down with bungees, and to get them open, we'll undo the bungee. This is going to tip back and then up, and we do have some wing guards here that'll swing open, and they're going to sit right into these pre-cut slots like so. And 3-burner cooktop. It's going to have electric ignition. Now to get that hooked up, we do have to make a couple of other connections that we'll get to. Let's go ahead and open up our dish rack, spice rack, whichever you'd like to call it. We're going to push that all the way open. Make sure your hinges lock in. Now this actually has a pin lock up here that will hold this closed. That actually should hold that closed for you so it doesn't flip open until you're ready. You can pull that open and lock it in the open position, and then this comes down. And again, the hinges will lock it in the open position. Now the connections that need to be made are going to be stored under the sink in this little cabinet right here. So this big white tube is going to be your drain tube for the sink. This one with the yellow cap is going to be our gas connection. And then we've got our cigarette lighter style 12-volt power. Now all of these are going to fish out through this hole right here in the bottom under the sink. And let's go over how to hook up our gas first. So quick connect fitting. It's going to go into this receiver right here on the side of the camper. We're going to push back on the collar, take the gas hose and push in, and then release the collar. Give it a little tug test, make sure it stays in. If we are, we're all good. And now we have a black lever under here, which is a flow valve that we're going to open up, and that's going to allow the gas to flow through. The other thing that does is locks this collar, so now we can't accidentally disconnect this until we are ready. So to disconnect it, we've got to shut the gas off, push back on the collar, and this is going to pop right out. When you do that, put your dust caps back in place to keep the dirt and the grime out. Now the electrical piece of it, our 12-volt power cord here, is going to plug in back into this compartment. There's a cigarette lighter style outlet in here that then will provide power to our ignition on our cooktop. And then all you've got to do is, if you've got your gas hooked up, this thing's ready to go. You will need a collection device for the water for the kitchen, the outside kitchen here, just so it's not going out on the ground and you're walking around in it. We do also have a couple of drawers here for storage, and you've got your cutlery tray underneath the cooktop. So to get this thing put away is going to be exactly the opposite of the way we brought it out. Make sure all of your connections are undone, your gas and your electrical. And then you're going to want to pull everything back up underneath the sink. Make sure everything's out of the way so you don't snag anything while you're sliding it in. These handles must be folded down to put this away or it'll snag on the seals. We're gonna go ahead and fold our spice rack away. Make sure that locks in. To get this to fold down, we do have to pull up on the center of the hinges. Watch your fingers, it could be a pinch point, so we're just gonna pull up, fold this down, put the bungee back on. To do the cooktop, it's gonna be pretty much the same thing. We're gonna undo our wing guards, fold those away. They just tuck down in there, and then we can close this. Bungee that into place. And now we can push this away. Make sure we get it all the way in there and then put that travel lock back into place. All right, that pretty much covers everything on the exterior of the XT16 Island from MDC. So let's hop inside and take a quick look. All right, just inside the door of the 2025 XT16HR Island OGE. We've got a bunch of switches, so let's go over these real quick. This one right here, upper left, is gonna be our awning switch. You're gonna have two. The first one says on off. This is your main power for the awning. If it's in the off position, this switch right here won't do anything. So this has to be powered on. And then to open it, you're just gonna push this switch to open. It's gonna automatically open. Make sure that your opening distance is clear, that it's not gonna run into anything. Once it's all the way open, it's just gonna stay there. And then to close it, you'll just push this down to the close position and it's gonna automatically close up. And once it's fully closed, then you can switch your main switch to off and you'll be good to go. Right next to that's gonna be our Renogy power button. This is for your inverter, the remote power for your inverter on the unit. So if you're not plugged into shore power and you wanna utilize your 110 power, like to run your air conditioner or your outlets, you're gonna make sure this button is pushed in, and then that green light should be flashing. If it's flashing, that means that it is inverting, which means you should have 110 power. Switches right here, we're gonna have our our spotlights and our step light. So step light is just gonna be this LED strip right here. Spotlights are gonna be the exterior, front and rear. And then these two switches right here, they say yellow and white, depending on which color lighting you want on your porch lights on the side. All of these switches are exterior lighting. And then we've got your fire extinguisher. It's got a gauge on it. Make sure that thing's in the green. Check it regularly, replace it as needed. That should be it right here at the door. Let's check out the rest of it. All right, starting right up front here in the XT16 Island, we're gonna start with our bed. So this thing kind of extends and retracts for floor space coming in and out of the door. So let's go over how to do that. We're gonna raise this up. I'm gonna pull the mattress up and you're gonna see these two pieces right here. So these can actually slide. These are gonna extend. And when you drop them down, you can pull your mattress down. And then this is gonna be your filler piece, which drops in. And then just put your mattress back up against it, and now you have a full-size queen bed. Obviously, during normal use, you're gonna want this stored. So we're gonna pull this back out, push the mattress all the way in, and then we can take these and we can slide these away. And again, open up our floor space. All of our cabinets in the unit are gonna be push button and then twist to open. So you push the lock down to pop it out and then rotate it, which pulls the tab in to open your cabinet and then pushes in to lock. We've got reading lamps on both sides of the bed with a touch button for operation. We've got your 12-volt accessory ports here, so cigarette lighter style, and then USB-A and USB-C. 110 outlet, and then we have a wireless charging pad for your electronics. And we've got the Sirocco fans. So these have multi-speed. The button, the controls are on the base, and it also comes equipped with a timer. Now these are kind of open-faced, but I'll let you know, they do not hurt. They're rubber blades. You know, probably not a good idea to necessarily put your finger in it, but if they do, it's not going to hurt you. Underneath our bed, this is strut supported, and under here we're going to find some of our Renogy goodies that come with the Off-Grid Extreme package. This right here is going to be our MPPT solar controller. This is going to take all of our solar coming into the unit and help convert that over to being charged for our batteries, as well as this unit here. It handles some of the solar as well, but it is also a DC to DC charger. So that 2-pin Anderson connector that's on the front of the trailer would provide power to this, which then would provide charge power to your lithium batteries. This big gray box right here is going to be our inverter. It's our 3000 watt Renogy inverter, which will convert that 12 volt battery power to 110 usable power for operating those outlets and the air conditioner. Other side is just storage. And we've got some bypass valves in this little compartment back here. So we've got a handful of valves in there that will be used for winterization purposes. Check out one of my other videos that you can probably see clearly on how to run those valves. Okay, let's check out the kitchen. All right, here we are in our kitchen. So let's start up top and then we'll move our way down. We've got our storage cabinets overhead. So this one is just storage. This one over here is not quite storage. It's where actually all of the switches and electronics are controlled essentially. We've got your main battery shut off. This is going to kill all the 12 volt power in the unit, but it does not disconnect the inverter from the batteries. There is a separate disconnect for that. We've got your water tank heating switches. This is going to be your Renogy panel where you can monitor what's going on with your batteries, your solar. And then we've got your resettable breakers right here. You just push these if they pop. And then we've got your switches over here to control your water pump, your DC outlets, your toilet and your fridge, water heater, furnace, and Renogy screen. Now for some in-depth on the Renogy screen and the Truma control panel that are in this unit, look for one of my other videos where we go more into depth on those. But we do have our Truma control here. This is going to be where we control our air conditioner, our water heater, and our furnace. We've got our tank monitor. You can turn this on and off with the power button on the face. Kind of like a gas gauge, you know, needle just swings depending on where we're at with level. We've got our radio, and we've got our Furrion vent hood that's going to be equipped with our vent fan and our lighting. Now this vent hood does have a screen in it, which is going to be this right here. You'll just take this out, slide that out of there, give it a good rinsing with some warm soapy water, let it dry before putting it back in. And then we're just going to snap it back into place when it's ready to go. All of your shades in this unit are going to operate the same. We've got our daytime screen, and then we've got our privacy shade here. And then they just clip together with these clips. You just pinch them and that separates them. Windows all have push locks on the knobs. Make sure they're pushed all the way out. And then these use a detent in the stay, so you have to listen for the click. When you hear the click, that's where you'll stop. If you go too fast, it just closes, but that's also how you close it. So listen for the click, where you want it to stop at, stop there. Once you're ready to close it, just push fast and it'll swing closed. Now these do have a ventilation position, so where you can close these latches into the middle, and that's going to leave just a small amount of airspace where it doesn't pull tight on the gasket for some fresh air. Now for travel, you want to make sure these are fully closed, so you want to pull them all the way in to the inside of the latch here to where they completely close. All right, 3-burner cooktop. Looks just like the one that was outside. So we'll turn to the lighting position. You can hear the igniter going off. If our gas was turned on, that would eventually light, and then you would set your flame and you'd be good to go on all 3 burners. Glass top. Don't put anything hot on it. Let your burners cool before you close it. Don't light them and then close on top of it. And we've got your kitchen sink with hot and cold water, controlled by the knob there, and you do have a plug if you do need to plug it up and hold water in the bin. Moving right down below our kitchen sink, we do have some storage here. On the right here, this is going to be your P-trap. So just I always like to throw caution anytime you're working around plumbing or anything like that to make sure you don't accidentally knock things loose. Under here, we're going to find lots of stuff, but really the most important for you is down here is going to be your water pump and these two valves. These valves, depending on which way they are positioned, this is going to allow flow. This would be close the flow. So these determine which fresh water tank you are going to pull water from, whether it be the front tank or the rear tank. So if you want it right now, we would be pulling from the front. If we wanted to change that, we'd close that one, open that one, and now we're going to pull from the rear tank. So that's how this can work for you there. All right, so right underneath our cooktop, we're going to find our Truma Vario heat. Not a whole lot here, but we do have two shutoff valves. This one here goes to the Vario heat, and this shuts off the LP gas. The other one goes to our cooktop, and again, it'll shut off the LP gas. So if for some reason, for service needs, or we think we have a propane leak, we can close those valves off to stop gas flow to the products. Pretty much it under here. You'll see on these cabinet doors, they've got these black vents. Try not to block any of the venting. That's for heat to get in. It's also for proper airflow, so everything operates as it should. All right, last thing in our kitchen is going to be our fridge. Make sure you've got your toilet fridge switch turned on, and the touch displays on these take some longer presses. You can see nothing happens here if I just tap on it. So generally you got to push and hold until it flashes, and then we can make changes. This is to help prevent accidental touches. And you've got your different temperature settings, night mode, all that good stuff on here. And then our main power button. Again, if we just push and hold, it's going to turn off. Same thing to get it turned on, you would push and hold. Now MDC puts travel locks on all their fridge doors. So you're just going to rotate this to the unlock position. You'll pinch the top and bottom tabs, and the centerpiece pops out. And that allows you to get into your fridge and freezer. All right, let's check out our dinette area. Overhead, we've got our Furrion microwave. It is a conventional microwave. We've got overhead storage. In the back here, you will find your TV attenuator booster that you can rotate a knob on. That'll help boost your signal strength. And then we've got your microwave outlet up here, which is also your GFCI outlet. So I like to point these out. I've seen people knock these out as they're putting things in and taking it out of the cabinet, and then the microwave doesn't work. So easy checkpoint there. Let's move down to our dinette space here. Before we make this into a bed, I want to go over what's under each bench. All right, so underneath our rear dinette bench, this big battery switch right here is actually our disconnect to disconnect our batteries from our inverter and completely shut the system down. You'll also see that we've got a handful of fuses under here. Breakaway device, stereo, stability control, and then this one that doesn't have a fuse in it should be your gas alarm. So they ship without the fuses in them. These are going to be just our 12-volt bus bars here. We do have another USB-A, USB-C, and cigarette lighter style charge port here, as well as a 110 outlet. These buttons on top of the batteries can be used for certain features, for shutdown and turning them back on, as well as turning on the heat if necessary, or that can happen automatically. And then moving over to the dinette bench next to the entry door, we're just going to see our second 400 amp hour Renogy Rego battery and just some electrical connections. So not a whole lot going on under that one. All right, so let's go over how to make our tabletop down into our platform for our additional sleeping space. First thing we can do is we can rotate this table up. We're going to take these slide locks. We want to pull them away from the wall to that position. And then I like to take the leg. We're going to pull up on this latch, and the leg's going to fold away just like that. And then we can lift this table off of that bar, and we're just going to slide it right back in down here onto the lower bar. That leg is going to sit on the ground, and now we can position our cushions to make more sleeping space for another person. Now to put that back up, we're just going to lift up, hang it back on this bar. Make sure you slide lock these into place. If you don't, that tabletop can pop up on you. Swing your leg back down, and you are back to being a table. And then all you've got to do is reposition your cushions where you need them. All right, so in the bathroom here, we're going to start up top, kind of work our way down. We do have storage cabinets overhead. We've got our light switch here, 110 outlets, USB-A, USB-C, and cigarette lighter style charge ports. Another storage cabinet here. Now on our cassette toilet, this handle right here on the back, this is how you pump water from our storage tank for this into the bowl. So water would come into our bowl. Once we get enough water, we do our thing, all that's good and done. Then we're gonna pull this little lever here on the bottom to the right, and that's gonna open up the valve that goes down into our cassette tank and allow it to empty out. And then we're just gonna push it back to the left, and that closes that. Now this toilet can rotate, so if you need to get the extra couple of inches of leg room, you can. It doesn't hurt anything. All right, on our bathroom sink here, we've got hot and cold water. To plug the drain, you're just gonna push down. That's gonna allow you to hold water in the sink. To drain it out, you'll just push down, down it goes. Underneath the sink, we will find some access to some plumbing fittings, as well as our waterless P-trap. Again, you can store some stuff in here. Just be cautious that you don't knock things loose. And again, we do have ventilation because we've got plumbing in here, so we do want heat going into those during cold weather camping. All right, last but not least, we've got our shower. And in our shower, we've got a nice big shower head that can be pulled off and used as a body sprayer. You can adjust the height on the rod here. It also has a soap dish that can be moved up and down. Drain is much like the bathroom sink, so you can push it down if you do want to hold a little water in here, or you can pop it up. This also can come all the way out if you so choose. Overhead, we do have a vent fan with your lighting in here, so we've got a switch for the light. Vent is a crate open, and then you do have a positive and negative on here depending on which way you want the air to flow. The fan can run in reverse direction. And we also have some wet clothes hangers in here, so you can hang your towels, swimming suits that you want to drip dry in the shower. All right, everybody, that wraps up our walkthrough of our 2025 XT16 Island from MDC. Now check out our other videos. We've got some excellent videos out there for the add-on accessories that come with these units. But if you have any further questions, check us out at princesscraft.com or one of our locations in Round Rock, Texas, or in Katy, Texas. On the norm, so we do like 18 takes just to get past the tongue.
Can't imagine.
The can't spit it out sometimes, so. Guess I should check that. My vocal warm-ups.
What is it? Red leather, yellow leather.
Red, yellow.
Red leather, yellow leather.
Wow, see, that's a good one. Red leather, yellow leather. Ah! Hey.
Okay. It's also not a kitchen.
It's also not a kitchen, and it's not a bowl.
Okay.
Shower.
Good job.
Shower.
Okay.